Hello, World Humanitarian Summit. Mike Zuckerman here in Greece. I've been here for about a month now, surveying the different camps that have been set up, both informal and formal. There's a government mandate to shut down the informal camps and move people into the official state run camps in the next few weeks. There isn't necessarily capacity to do that, but that's one of the things that we're trying to work on assisting with. And I guess I just wanted to share a bit about what's going on here and what I've observed. Basic needs, wash, water, sanitation, hygiene, shelter, food are first. And then after that, as far as talking to the migrants' needs and desires, is really immigration processing. They're extremely frustrated. They've been given this Skype number to call that's always busy or they can't get through. And they're really unsure of their future for their families as well. That seems to be the number one thing. If we could build them beautiful camps, possibly, that's not going to be easy either. But the first thing that matters to them is their immigration status. Most of them do not want to stay in Greece. So there is some talk of doing pre-registration, and I've heard some strategies of setting up some centers in Thessaloniki and Greece, the two main cities, and busing people from the camps into the cities to get their processing because they need to be connected to the police and information database online to be able to make sure that they're processing people correctly. I think being able to have a mobile unit would be a more efficient model if they could figure out how to do mobile broadcasting or mobile internet connectivity. And another thing in setting up camps is making sure that protection issues are taken into account. Safety of women, vulnerable people. There's a lot of violence that's breaking out at many of the camps. The police aren't getting involved. It's really a dire situation. And some of the things I've been thinking about is kind of, almost like information management systems of the camps. FOBs, key cards, where certain groups would have access to certain areas and not to others. Keeping track of people's dietary restrictions, their medical records, security information, all of that, a little bit better of a management or somewhat of a management system for the camps would be really valuable. And, Wi-Fi, like everyone else, when you check into a hotel or anything, restaurant, you always want to know what the Wi-Fi is. They're the exact same way when they get to a camp, and not all the camps have connectivity. I think with connectivity, of course, there's entertainment and connection and communication with family members, but I think there's also opportunity there to be able to allow migrants to tell their own stories. There's a group that's emerged out of Idiomeni, which is the camp of about 11,000 currently that's on the northern border of Greece, and that's one of the main hotspots, they're called here. And some of the groups there have set up their own Refugee.tv, where they're getting some of their own stories out. And being able to allow the migrants to tell their own story could be quite powerful as well. That we can humanize them. And I just think, the main kind of things that we're working on here, not, all of us, it's a very complex situation, government, NGOs, informal volunteers, is really to provide humane living situations for people, to also show that there is some capability to get a handle on this crisis. I think it's a really big issue that if it doesn't happen, there's some serious questions about the future of the EU and its ability to deal with this crisis. And the third kind of area, setting up camps that are people living in humane places, really trying to convince the general public that this situation can be dealt with. And thirdly, there's a populist uprising, a right wing, extremist kind of anti immigration sentiment that is growing throughout Europe. And I think coming up with solutions that don't, that take that into account. For example, we're trying to fix up and rehabilitate Greek infrastructure to house the 60,000 or so refugees currently in Greece, not just putting people in camps and spending money that will not lead to infrastructure for the future of Greece. So instead, refurbishing buildings and putting refugees into them. And again, that can help with some of the anti immigration sentiment that Greek has its own financial crisis. So if we can try and find win win situations that help the refugees and help Greece, I think that leads to a better situation for everyone. So those are some thoughts. There's a lot more. It's extremely nuanced and complicated, but there's a lot of amazing people that are putting their minds to this and their hearts and souls and efforts, and the refugees themselves. So right now, it is not a great situation. We know we can do better. It's just a matter of some ideas, some will, some courage, some naivety. But together, I know we can do more. So thanks for listening to my spiel. Good luck and enjoy the hackathon.